Noobs in Combat recently had a pretty big update, and it got me thinking about things they could add in the future. And I thought, hey, maybe they could add a skill tree. Now, a skill tree definitely has potential, but just expecting them to add it because it's a cool idea isn't going to do anything. So that's why this video exists. Today, I will go into detail into a Noobs in Combat skill tree idea I came up with, and also I may go off on multiple tangents when I'm talking about the skill tree since I'm not writing a script for this thing. Alright, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say the kind of tree that it's going to go into, because I'm thinking of there being three, or actually four considering MISC. And then I'm going to say the tier, because each skill will go into three tiers, the name of the skill, and what it actually adds to the game. First is the infantry tree. There are two tier 1s. They are better branded bullets, which is what I'm thinking it would do, would be every attack from one of your infantry does an additional 5 damage. I think that's pretty simple. It's not super interesting or super good, but that's just how the tier 1s are going to be. And then lightweight vests. Every enemy attack does 5% less, not 5%, 5 less damage to your infantry. That is actually kind of 5%. Anyway, the way, as you probably tell, I'm going to have it so half of each tier is going to be offensive and the other half is defensive. Alright, we're moving to tier 2, infantry. Extra magazine. All of your infantry can attack one extra time. This just means they have more ammo, basically. And the next one is one of my favorites, prisoners of war. All your units from the rifleman tree can capture enemy infantry that is at or below 20% health by walking into them. Captured infantry can't move or attack, but they can be uncaptured by other enemy infantry. So it's kind of like how you capture trucks and bases and stuff. Alright, next one is, this is also tier 2, since there's 4 tier 2s, 4 tier 3s, and only 2 tier 1s. So the next one is Unwavering Spirit. No single attack can do more than 99% of one of your infantry units' health. Now, this just means that they can't get one-shotted by anything if they have full health, and that's I feel like this might be a tier 3 depending on how the developers how they would think of it if they did decide to add any of this at all. The last tier 2 is 8 times scope. Your units from the sniper tree can see and attack an extra 2 squares away. This just makes it so your sniper tree units can just go super far away. I do want to say that the 8 times scope would not allow their uh it wouldn't allow their, sorry, I can't think. It wouldn't allow their like radio radius to be larger if the sniper team, just so they can't get artillery to go that far. Anyway, the first infantry tier 3, which these are where it gets really good, is armor piercing rounds. All your infantry does triple damage to vehicles except the bazooka tree and the mortar that just does an extra 50% damage to vehicles. Well, another tier 3 would be questionable morals. When capturing enemy infantry, they convert to your side instead of being captured. They will go back to being on the enemy team if you move them out of your sight range. Every time the converted infantry attacks an enemy, they lose 15 morale, but sorry, I had to scroll. But if the enemy is an infantry unit, it also loses 15 morale when being attacked or attacking your infantry. All your infantry units can now capture enemy infantry units. That is probably the longest skill I have made. Anyway, next one is another tier 3, heavy armor. Your units from the rifleman tree can move one less space, excluding when they are in vehicles, and they take 50% less damage from bullets, 25% less damage from all other attacks. I think this is the one that would be most likely for them to just not add if they did add this skill tree, because it sounds kind of overpowered. Alright, last tier 3 for infantry is ghillie suit. Your units from the sniper tree cannot be seen by vehicles and cannot be seen by any other enemy unit when in a building, forest, or mountain. They can be seen by any unit after attacking, though. Alright, so that's the entire infantry tree. That's That's a pretty weird tree. Anyway, so now the vehicle tree I'm going to be doing, which is same format, everything. It's just for vehicles instead. So for the first tier 1 skill is better manufacture. Your vehicles are 50% less likely to be immobilized. I don't remember if that's the word. I think it was something like immobilized where they can't move after being attacked. Anyway, next one is extra ammo pocket. All of your vehicles that have a bullet attack or machine gun attack get an extra maximum capacity for that attack, so they can use it one more time. Alright, that's the tier 1s. And then the tier 2 is larger fuel tank. All your vehicles that have the fuel perk can hold 1 extra fuel, which I think would just be pretty helpful, but not really game changing. And then the second one is tighter packing. Your units from the supply wagon tree can use the supply ability 1 extra time. Supply carriers, or I think, are they still supply carriers? Yeah, they're. I mean, they used to be heavy cargo. Anyway, supply carriers get 2 extra supply abilities since they can technically use the supply ability twice in 1 turn. Alright. Sorry, I got kind of a cough. Anyway, the next tier 2 is big extra ammo pocket. All your vehicles that have the cannon attack can use it 1 extra time, so it's just another maximum capacity one. The last tier 2 is speedy reload. All your vehicles with a machine gun attack can use that attack twice in 1 turn, which would be really, really helpful for the seriously. It would be really helpful for the multi-tanks because they already attack multiple times in 1 turn, so they just attack a ton. And now, for my tier 3 is, the first one is increased horsepower. All your vehicles can enter mountain terrain, river terrain, and their movement is unaffected by forest terrain. So you can just, it's just terrain stuff. Alright, now the third one is armor plating. All your units from the supply wagon tree take 50% less damage. It's pretty simple, but helpful. And then long barrels. All your vehicles can attack 1 space further than normal. This one might be a little overpowered, and it would also be the developer's choice whether they would want to allow the like supply wagon tree to be able to reach further. Anyway, last vehicle tier 3 is very speedy reload. All your vehicles with the cannon attack can use it twice in 1 turn. And this also might be really overpowered, especially with like the heavy tank. Was it the heavy tank? No, it's battle tank. Battle tank. But yeah, it'd be really, really overpowered with that, and it might even be even more overpowered with the multi-tanks that actually have rocket. Anyway, so now I'm moving on to the final. Actually, no. I'm moving on to the artillery skill tree, which is, it doesn't affect just artillery things, but it affects artillery, and some of the skills affect things that have like the radio perk. Alright, so the first one is extra batteries. This is, again, tier 1. All your units with the radio perk can use it twice in 1 turn. Next tier 1 is extra rocket. So all your units from the rocket battery tree shoot 1 extra rocket the first time they attack. Which, yeah. Anyway, now we're moving on to tier 2. Almost commando. Your grunts M have the radio perk. The next tier 2 is alternate power source. None of your units from the biker tree have the fuel perk, which I just feel like having to deal with the fuel on the biker tree is pretty annoying, and this might be a little overpowered, but it would just be really nice to have. Next, tier 2 is advanced coordination. Your artillery can attack water units, which it might be able to do that already, but when you click on the attack thing, it says they can't, so I don't know. That whole system's just a little weird. So, but that's my idea for this one. And next, the last tier 2 is mortar self-defense. Your mortar units have a machine gun attack, just because they're pretty useless by themselves. I mean, okay, they're not nearly as useless as other artillery by themselves, but still. Alright, tier 3 time, the big ones. Okay, first tier 3 is everything is weaponized. Any headquarters, outposts, and supply depots you have an artillery attack. This one, they might want to just limit it to headquarters, but I think it would be really cool to have it so that um, your bases and stuff can actually defend themselves a little bit. All right, another tier 3 is silenced engines. Your units from the biker tree cannot trigger enemy ambush perks, which is, that would be helpful because if you want to send in your bikers and then send in attacks, but your biker tree stuff. But especially if you're just using the normal biker, you send it in, it gets shot, it dies, you don't get to use the artillery. And then this one, the next tier 3 is improved radio signal. Artillery can fire 2 spaces further in all directions, which would just be generally helpful for any artillery attack. The last tier 3 is death from above. Your units from the field gun tree, you get 1 cluster bomb attack. The cluster bomb makes an explosion in a 3x3 square and does twice as much damage as the artillery's main attack. Your units and allied units take another double damage from the blast. The units from the field gun tree can only use this attack once each. And I'm going to say that the reason that it does an extra double damage to your units is so that you have to be really, really careful with your units and just kind of make sure that, I don't know, I just feel like it's really powerful, but you got to be careful. Alright, now, I only have a couple of these, but I just came up with a couple of miscellaneous skills that didn't really go anywhere. The first one is salvager, and I have not decided what tier I think it would go in, but it allows you to destroy your vehicles for a small amount of ticks. Enemy players still get 5 ticks for it being destroyed, or how much ticks they would have gotten for it being destroyed. And this way, you can just, like, if your vehicle is about to get destroyed and you know for sure you can get rid of it, you'd probably want to limit it to where you can only destroy 1 vehicle per turn or something. But I'm not really sure. I just think that would be a cool idea. Next one is a tier 3 for sure, and it's inflatable tank, which I think that they did have inflatable tanks in World War II. Anyway, unlocks the inflatable tank unit. The inflatable tank looks exactly like a battle tank and moves exactly like a battle tank. The inflatable tank does not provide vision and is always destroyed in 1 hit. Despite always being destroyed in 1 hit, it will say the attack will do however much damage it would do if it were a battle tank, which only... So, like, if you were playing PvP, they'd see a battle tank, and they'd put their cursor over the battle tank with an attack, and if it was a machine gun, it'd say it'd do, like, 6 damage or something. When they actually shoot it, it does, like, 100 damage. So, that's just... I don't know, I thought that would be pretty cool. I think I did I forget to mention that it wouldn't cost a lot of money, a lot of ticks, but that would also be up for the developers to decide if they added it. Anyway, now I'm not really sure how you'd get skill points, but I have a few ideas. First, I think it would make sense to just have it so that you can get a skill point for every nugget you trade in until you get 15 points. I say 15 points because I think it'd be fair where you'd be able to get an entire skill tree and half of another one, making it 15, I believe. It'd be pretty embarrassing if that was wrong, but anyway, another way it could be implemented could be with a player leveling system. That's kind of obvious. That's what most games with skill trees do. Honestly, I think having a good way to get skill points is just as important as having a well-balanced skill tree. So I guess that's what I came up with, and even though the developers probably won't add any of this, I had fun working on it, and I hope the video was enjoyable for you guys.